This is gonna take crackerjack timing, Wang.
Total concentration. You ready, Jack?
I was born ready.
I hope y'all are ready for this week's comic book review. Now, I know I mentioned the other day I was going to be reviewing Radiant Black here on the channel. I gotta be honest, I read the comic. I wasn't all that impressed. And I didn't want to do a negative review. I wanted to talk about something I actually enjoyed. So this week, I'm going to be talking about Daredevil number 27. And tomorrow, I'm going to talk a little bit about Erratic number 3, which I think was excellent and kind of ties into a lot of the things that are going on right now, just as far as things to talk about. I think Erratic number 3 addresses them very well. So I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. I'm not going to do a full review, but I'm going to talk about that. But here and now we're talking about Daredevil number 27. This is Chip Zdarsky, Marco Checchetto with Mike Hawthorne assisting on the art. Absolutely an excellent addition to the King in Black story, the mythos. I'm enjoying King in Black, maybe not as much as some people. I don't think it's the greatest thing ever. But for the most part, every single thing that I've read in King in Black has been very good to, excellent. And the excellent stuff has been the issues of Venom, this issue of Daredevil. For the most part, the King in Black main stuff it's mindless popcorn fun, but these issues of Venom and Daredevil have really gotten more into the characters, and I've liked that a lot more. I was shocked when I saw that Daredevil was tying into King in Black. I was disappointed. I was like, why ruin this wonderful Chip Zdarsky run by going into this event that doesn't seem to have anything to do with it? But what Chip Zdarsky has done is he has seized the moment, and he has taken the opportunity to use this King in Black tie-in to reaffirm who Matt Murdock is as a character, what he stands for as a hero. And that's what I ultimately came away loving about this issue of Daredevil. There's also a story involving the new Daredevil, Elektra, out on the streets, saving some kids. Not going to get into that as much because this would end up being like a 30-minute review. But I'm gonna concentrate on the Matt Murdock stuff, talk about the art a little bit, and I will touch on that Elektra story arc at the end as well. But just fabulous character work from Chip Zdarsky. We've come to expect, pretty much nothing less, and he absolutely delivers in spades. Now, before I get into the details on why I think Daredevil 27 is worth every single penny that you could give Marvel Comics and then some, I do want to say, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Thinking Critical YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. If you enjoy this video, give us a thumbs down if you don't. Let me know your thoughts on Daredevil 27. Were you as enamored? Did you enjoy the character work from Chip Zdarsky as much as I did? Because I thought it was great. Now let's get into it. First up, I am going to talk about the art by Marco Checchetto. He has been the creative partner of Chip Zdarsky on his Daredevil endeavor since the beginning. Hasn't illustrated every issue, but he's illustrated a lot of them, all the most important ones. And I will say his work here is absolutely horrifying. He is a classic visual storyteller, but he is a classic horror storyteller. The man can do some wonderful horror visions. Look at this just horrifying image of a Carnage infected Typhoid Mary. You can't get stuff like that out of your mind. Just wonderful visuals, lots of action, everything you've come to expect from Marco Checchetto, but dialed up to like 15 here because you have all these wonderful horror visuals. Man, in the future, I do want to see Marco Checchetto spread his wings out because I imagine there are going to be few styles that the man just cannot do because he is such a wonderful artist. Definitely one of the up-and-comers, if not the up-and-coming artist at Marvel Comics to watch. He's been killing it on Daredevil for so long. I appreciate his work. It does make the series feel more special because pretty much from day one we've had Marco Checchetto, and he's been worth whatever they're paying him. He's worth 5 times that, I'll tell you that. Now let's get into Matt Murdock and the work that Chip Zdarsky does with the character. Obviously, Knull is the god of the void. He's the symbiote god. He's a very evil character. Clashes pretty much with what everything Daredevil stands for and believes in. At the end of Daredevil 26, we saw that he had become symbiote Daredevil. We thought that he had been overcome by Knull and his forces, and we find out very early on that is not the case. Matt Murdock has not lost faith. He still holds faith in his God, in his beliefs, and he is resisting, and Knull is tormenting him kind of toying with him, telling him, you're going to be coming to the devil. And this was what Matt Murdock has to say. I don't want this. You're the devil. I'm a man of God. And Knull responds, reductive, foolish. I see your heart. You welcome the devil. And he responds, but I strive to live in God's light. Now, we do know pretty much from everything that we've seen that the antithesis of Knull is the God of light, which we do believe is manifesting itself in Dylan Brock, the source of power that overcomes Knull and frees Earth from its symbiotic shell and brings light back to the Marvel 616 universe. So this definitely ties into everything that we've been seeing with Knull. So Chip Zdarsky's done out here just doing his own thing. He's got a character that represents, not at a cosmic degree, but certainly at a very mortal degree, what it takes to defeat Knull. And he's fighting because he does believe in the God of light. And that is what he represents as a hero. And then Knull continues to torment him, mock his faith, mock his beliefs. And he says, you don't really believe in your God, do you? When your loved ones die and ascend to your heaven, you weep, you wail, because deep in your heart, there's no such thing, which is why Knull wins. And Matt Murdock does not lose faith. This is what he says. No, you're wrong. I weep, I wail, admitting when he loses someone. He does weep, he does wail. He is a mortal man, but it's not because he doesn't believe in God. It's not because he doesn't think there's anything after that. He says, because deep down, I suspect I'm not worthy of God's love, and I might not see that other person in heaven. There might not be a place for me. He's dealing with and coming to grips with his own faith, his own questions of mortality, and if there's going to be a place for him beside God in the kingdom of heaven. Even though he believes it down to every fiber of his being, he still doesn't believe it in himself yet. And that is the conflict within Daredevil character. And Chip Zdarsky gets it so well here. And I love the way that he's fighting Knull and the temptation that Knull, he's trying to mock his faith. Give him reason to lose faith in all the things that he believes in. But he will not give up. He doesn't lose faith. He still understands that he's a mortal man. He still understands that he's a sinner and he has issues that he needs to overcome. But those aren't God's issues. Those are his issues. And whether or not he will ever truly be worthy of living beside God in the kingdom of heaven. Later on in the story, as he's in the prison, Matt is fighting Knull very well. He's still infected by the symbiote, and the powers are kind of overcoming him, and the rage is coming out of him. He almost can't stop himself as he hits a guard. He's like, the rage. And this other prisoner that's kind of been helping him out, he's like, Daredevil, just get out, go, free yourself, because you're not going to be able to fight him here. You're going to do something that's going to be worse than you could imagine. And Knull continues to mock him. My power, my rage, my power, that's what's flowing within you. Isn't it just a path toward freedom? Aren't I giving you freedom? Relieve yourself from the burden of your faith. Free yourself with what I am giving you, the rage and the power that I have. You can do whatever you want with the power that I'm giving you. And Matt Murdock says, I'm here to make amends, to do what's right. So my soul knows freedom, because Knull in and of itself isn't freedom. Knull is the ultimate imprisonment of his soul and his life until the end of times. And that's what Knull represents, arriving at Earth and covering it with that symbiotic shell. And we get to the very powerful moment here at the end as he's fighting, and he realizes he might not be able to continue fighting off Knull. He's too powerful, but he still has his wits about him. He remembers that symbiotes are vulnerable to electricity, and he finds essentially the electric chair in the prison. He sits himself down, he straps himself in, and he begins to make what may be the ultimate sacrifice to get this devil out of him that is trying to infect his spirit, infect his soul, in effect damn him into eternity. And Knull finally arrives. Yes, Matthew, no one can fight forever except those who live forever. And the prisoner comes up and he pulls the switch, electrocutes Matt Murdock, who was symbiote infected, obviously infected by Knull, Knull is expelled from his body. Very symbolic of some of the things that you will read in the Bible, or maybe even modern day exorcisms as demons are expelled from mortal beings. Matt Murdock wasn't able to do alone. He almost did it. He was able to resist on his own, but in the end, he still needed a friend to help expel that devil from his body, and he has freed himself. And to my knowledge, he's the first Marvel hero to do so. And his final words are, "See, forever is easy if you have faith." Wonderful, just wonderful character work on the part of Chip Zdarsky, likely reiterating a lot of things I don't know that Chip believes in, and I don't care if that's what he believes in. He gets the character of Daredevil, and that's what we've been asking from modern day comic creators. It's not about you. It's not about what you believe. It doesn't matter if you fully believe in everything that character stands for. Understand the character, be true to the character and the character's history, and we will thank you, and we will embrace you, and we will appreciate the stories that you're putting out there. Just because Chip Zdarsky is writing this story and showing this internal conflict as Matt Murdock struggles with a literal devil inside of himself as he tries to expel that devil, and he keeps faith with his God and his beliefs, does not mean that's what Chip Zdarsky believes in. But it does mean he gets Daredevil. And that's why I think this is an absolutely crackerjack issue. Now, it's not a 5-star issue, and there's a good reason for that. And it's mostly because of the Elektra story arc. Not that it's bad, but it's good, but it's nothing in comparison to the story that we get with Matt Murdock. And there's also this thing that happens. I don't know who does this. I'm imagining it's the color artist, Marcio Menyz. I think that's how you say it. I might be wrong. But he puts this plaid shirt on this little girl that Elektra is essentially saving from the symbiotes. And that's what her entire storyline is. And she's fighting Typhoid Mary, and she's fighting other symbiotes trying to keep this little girl alive. Unfortunately, at one point, the girl runs into her Knull-infected mother, who's trying to bring her to Knull, and she goes and protects the girl. But this plaid shirt, I don't know why they did this. It looks so out of place, and it just distracted me the whole time. I could not stop looking at it for all the wrong reasons. If you read this, did the plaid thing stand out to you too? I thought it was awful. The perspective of the shirt never changes. Like, the plaid doesn't like change with the girl and her, the way that she's in relation. It's just they overlaid it onto the character, and it just looks so weird and out of place. I don't know. Is this little girl traveling through all of the King in Black stories with this plaid shirt? Maybe it represents something else, or does it just really not a good job by the art team when they included that? But I did find it distracting. But just this is like pittance compared to the absolute excellence that we get in this issue from Chip Zdarsky and Marco Checchetto, with an assistance from Mike Hawthorne. This is great character work. This is an excellent issue of Daredevil. I didn't enjoy issue 26 as much because, it was all the lead up until what we got here. But when you get a main course like this, you come back and you appreciate the appetizer that you got in issue 26 so much more, because you see the work that Chip's putting in there to get you to this position to where he can go and give you these wonderful character moments that really literally are showing Daredevil, Matt Murdock, fighting the devil, tooth and nail, keeping faith in his beliefs, and in the end, prevailing and then literally expelling a demon out of his body with the help of another sinner. I really enjoyed the symbolism. I really enjoyed the execution. I highly recommend this comic book. If you are a Daredevil fan, if you enjoy the character, I think that you are going to enjoy this immensely. You don't have to be Christian. You don't have to have faith. You don't even have to have belief in something higher to appreciate this comic book, because it absolutely gets the character of Daredevil and what's made him special and made him stand out for so many decades. Thank you, Chip Zdarsky. This is what we're all been waiting for. And King of Black has been a very good comic book event. I'm not reading everything. I'm just reading King of Black and the tie-ins that are in the issues that I read. King of Black, Daredevil, King of Black, Venom. And I'm absolutely loving it. I don't think you probably need to read the other 60 tie-ins, but this is absolutely worth it.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.